Sung, where clinical excellence meets excellent results. Today we're going to talk about constipation and stimulating that one nerve that can eliminate constipation forever. So let's get right into it. Constipation, stimulating that one nerve, and that one nerve is called the vagus nerve. Vagus nerve is a cranial nerve, and there's 12 of them, and the vagus is number 10. 10th cranial nerve is one of the longest and innervates the entire digestive tract, the heart, the lungs, all the abdominal viscera, muscles of the pharynx, soft palate, larynx, which is responsible for what? Speaking and swallowing, okay? Now, it's important to understand when you have the brain, the entire brain, frontal lobe, temporal lobe, occipital lobe, right? All the parts of the brain will fire 90% of the output through the brainstem where cranial nerve 10 lives. So it can inhibit or stimulate the vagus nerve in the brainstem by having proper brain function. So one of the clinical signs is if you have a bad brain or neurodegeneration, it could impact the vagus nerve, okay? Now, what does it do? The vagus impacts balance of the sympathetic and parasympathetic. The vagus is parasympathetic. It's the rest and digestion nerve.
सक्सेस एक पैटर्न है, वैसे फेलियर भी पैटर्न है। आपको ताज्जुब होगा इस चीज जानकर कि बहुत सारे लोग अपने फेलियर को पैटर्न को
Clinical signs: lack of fatiguing when you do a gag reflex. So when a patient comes in, we'll have them go ah ah ah. We'll put a tongue depressor right in the back of the throat, stimulating a gag reflex, right? If the patient has a lack of that gag reflex or fatiguing of the gag reflex, you might get the gag reflex once or twice, but the third one, it doesn't exist. So the diminishing fatigability of the gag reflex is a clinical sign and symptom. Difficulty swallowing, right? I said pharynx, soft palate, and larynx. It's part of swallowing. If you have difficulty swallowing, it can be a clinical sign. Gastroparesis, inability to digest your foods at a normal rate or normal transit rate. GI problems, constipation, big one. Anxiety, because it's parasympathetic and sympathetic. If you don't have parasympathetic function or proper parasympathetic function, you're going to have anxiety. You're always in that fight or flight mode. Uvula. So when you open your mouth, there's this little thing hanging down right in the middle of your throat. Okay, that is called the uvula. And it will deviate away from the damaged side. So if you see the uvula and it shifts to my left, it's shifting away from the damaged side, right? The weak vagus nerve. Okay. Also, if you have Parkinson's disease, Lewy body dementia, or neurodegeneration, it can also impact the vagus nerve, like we said over here. Okay? Now, how do we stimulate it? How do we correct this problem?